welcome to Frightening Finds. Hello everyone, my name is Born Acid, and today we'll be looking into the strange case of Andy's Pizzeria. To learn about Andy's Pizzeria, you first need to travel to a remote and barely inhabited nation. The Pitcairn Islands are located 1,000 miles from Tahiti and 3,000 miles from New Zealand, and are only accessible by boat. They're a British overseas territory with their own local government, originally founded by mutineers and pirates from the ship the HMS Bounty. As of July 2011, there are approximately 70 permanent inhabitants, most originating from 4 families. In July 2014, that number had dropped to 49 people. Tourism is a big boost to the island's economy, and tourists stay with local families and experience the island's culture. And, strangely, all persons under age 16 require prior clearance before landing. The population of the island is declining, and only 2 children were born on Pitcairn in the last 21 years prior to 2012. The population of the island hit its highest point in 1988 with around 250 people. In 1999, Gail Cox, police officer from Kent, UK, served on a temporary assignment on Pitcairn and began uncovering allegations of sexual abuse. When a 15-year-old girl decided to press rape charges in 1999, criminal proceedings, codenamed Operation Unique, were set in motion. The charges include 21 counts of rape, 41 of indecent assault, and 2 of gross indecency with a child under 14. Over the following 2 years, police officers in Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom interviewed every woman who had lived on Pitcairn in the last 20 years, as well as all of the accused men. Visiting pastor Neville Towson, who spent 2 years on Pitcairn, said, "I noticed worrying signs, such as inexplicable mood swings," he said. "It took me 3 months to realize they were being abused." Towson tried to bring the matter before the island council, but was rebuffed. One counselor told him, "Look, the age of consent has always been 12, and it doesn't hurt them." A study of island records confirmed anecdotal evidence that most girls bore their first child between the ages of 12 and 15. According to the investigation, in 2004, 55 charges relating to sexual offenses against children and young people were brought against 7 men living on the island and 6 living abroad. These 7 men accounted for nearly 1/3 of the male population. Many of the men blamed the British police for persuading the women involved to press charges. On September 28, 2004, Olive Christian, her 2 sons, husband, father, and brother were all implicated in the sexual abuse trials. Olive called a meeting of 13 of the island's women to defend the men of the island. She claimed that underage sex had been accepted as Polynesian tradition since the settlement of the island in 1790. Some of these women came up with a conspiracy theory that the trial was part of a British plot to jail the able-bodied men and close the island.
Steve Christian and the islanders think this is all a conspiracy to get them off the island.
Yes, sorry.
Despite the island residents' defense of family and neighbors, during the trial, 6 men were convicted, including the mayor, Steve Christian.
I think what you have to remember is that Steve Christian's been convicted on 5 counts of child rape. So, you know, I mean, he will obviously have an interest in making those sorts of claims. I mean, at the end of the day, this has been a very difficult process for everybody, and it you know, to suggest that it's a conspiracy theory to get Steve Christian, I think is quite fanciful, really.
Convicted and started their sentences in 2006. By 2010, all sentences were completed or granted detention. Sadly, these types of crimes were not new to the island. 3 cases of imprisonment for sex with underage girls were reported in the 1950s. Then again, in 2010, the mayor, Mike Warren, faced 25 charges of possessing images and videos of child pornography and was convicted. So at this point you may be asking what any of this has to do with the pizza place. Well, with the island's shady past and the recently debunked Pizzagate scandal, a group on 4chan's investigation board found out about Andy's Pizzeria. This is their evidence for it being strange. Andy's Pizzeria is only open for 2 to 4 hours every Friday. It has a strange phone number, 0166. some of the reviews for Andy's Pizzeria are odd. I would swim all the way back to Andy's in a second. It literally liberated my mind. I suggest to never eat here because I'm addicted now and my life feels like a lie without Andy's special sauce in my mouth every Friday night. If you want to go down this rabbit hole, I suggest you buy 7 pizzas so you'll have your fix until the next Friday ritual. Miss you, Andy. More evidence presented. One poster noted that the owner showed purchases of very expensive equipment. The owner bought a large pizza oven, a $3,000 make table, a $2,000 dough sheeter. It doesn't appear to make financial sense. One post said he had a big night and sold 30 pizzas. Even if they were the most expensive ones he sells, that's still only $560 in sales. And while the owner likely doesn't have to pay rent for his location, he's still got a lot of overhead. Ingredients have to be shipped in, his building is way too big, and his customer base is way too small. So, what does this all mean? The investigators from 4chan tried to draw connections that Andy's Pizzeria is a front for a child sex ring. The owner was born on the island and lived for many years in the UK before returning home. This just seems to be the case of a person trying to bring something back to their home island, a place that is slowly losing all of its inhabitants. The sad part of this story is, with its history of sexual crimes, anyone associated with the island needs to overcome its past. The island remains a strange place. In 2015, photographer and blogger Rhiannon Adam visited the island. She writes, "I headed to Pitcairn Island for 96 nights to try to disentangle fact from fiction. Though most of my friends and family expressed concern, I assumed that the islanders would be on their best behavior, seeing my arrival as an opportunity to change their narrative. I was frequently referred to as the only woman of breeding age, a phrase I had to learn to laugh off. One man took it upon himself to wait for me, naked, in my bedroom after the power was switched off. On a different night, I awoke to find him attempting to open my window and climb inside. Rhiannon Adam was frequently propositioned for sex by this man and had to report him to the only police officer on the island." She further writes about Kushana, age 6, the only child living on Pitcairn Island during her stay. Kushana is ferried to and from Pulau School by the island's only police officer. At no time is she left alone. The way the island works now is there is only a primary or elementary school, and all children around age 12 or 13 attend the rest of their schooling off-island. Rhiannon Adam later states, "I am reminded of the island as a prison. All on it are trapped in a kind of purgatory. If Pitcairn's days are numbered, where will they go? To Britain, more than 14,000 miles away? Britain is the only country obliged to settle them. I haven't personally visited this island, but according to everyone who has, it's a beautiful but lonely place. An aging population, combined with no children and the past criminal cases of a heinous nature, means in a few years, Pitcairn Island will likely be abandoned." I want to thank everyone for watching. In the description you'll find links for more information. Feel free to reach out. And thank you for watching.